Hello, 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 Sassy Nation. I just want to make sure that I am up on the right camera because, that seems to be an issue nowadays. Let me get this main camera going. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a lunchtime mini sass where I'm going to be doing the clipboard today. I'm going to show you how we put it together. I'm pressing it for a client. I'm also going to show you something fun you can pair with this clipboard, and we're going to talk about that as well. So thank you so much for joining me this morning, or this afternoon. It's now noon here on the East Coast. Over on the West Coast, they're still having breakfast. So good morning, good morning, good morning to them, and good afternoon to all of my East Coast people. So today we're going to be pressing this guy right here. You can get these style clipboards and the standard styled clipboards from Johnson Plastics, Condi, all the major vendors sell this. They also come with the hardware. I personally like the flat hardware. It's easier for me to hammer it down. We're going to assemble the complete project today. Now, some things I want to go over with you is this is one of those items we have to pre-press. It's over the 6 inches. I know sometimes people do 6 to 8 inches. Do you pre-press all your little stuff? No, I don't. But the larger stuff, I absolutely do pre-press. It does come with some film on it. Absolutely. So we're going to take off the film. Now, if you struggle with taking off the film, what you can do is just go lay it on your heat press. Okay. What it's going to do is it's going to soften up the glue, so to speak, that film is on. You can even go as far as, because I know you guys can see me in the little camera, it's going as far down as, let me turn it this way, and just warming it up a little bit, right? You can just warm it up a little bit if you're having issues pulling it off. I know some people have arthritis or carpal tunnel, and pulling this film off can be a bit much. So what you're going to want to do is have Nikki flip over the camera because that makes life a little bit more interesting. Okay. So we're going to flip over this camera. We're going to grab our 3D Puff Pro tool. All right. As you can see, this is a yellow film that is on here. So we do have that. I like to start in a corner. You're going to just roll it back. You're just going to pull it so it rolls it back. All right. Because it helps, and it really just protects your nails is what it does. And it protects you from scraping it and scratching it. Okay. It's really satisfying when it comes off in one full sheet, but I can never get it that way, to be very honest with you. So I'm going to go all the way across, come all the way down. I'm going to point out some things that I want you not to worry about and don't freak out about. Perfect. Okay, so here's some things I don't want you to get all worried about. If you could see right near this hole, there's a little bit of chips. It's not going to matter. Your hardware covers that. Don't freak out about it. All right. It's just from where they've cut it. Now this side does, I'm going to go get my wipes for this because I see a little bit of a smudge. You can use your rubbing alcohol for this. It does help for cleaning off your product. Sometimes a product may come with a sticky film on one side, but not on the other. So you get those fingerprint marks or whatever it may be. Just get some rubbing alcohol. Clear this off of some smudges. You're going to laugh when I tell you I do it this way. So my smudges don't get in. I use my 3D Puff Pro tool, put it in the hole here so that I don't get all the smudge marks all over it that I'm trying to take off, right? So let's take this and move this to the side. All right. Now, do you have to do the back? Honestly, it's up to you if you want to do the back. I mean, we'll do it just for the sake of just doing it. I did take the film off of this side, but you can. So now that she's all pretty, we're going to go ahead and press this. Now, I do have my press already set at the pressure that I want. I am going to go pre-press this really quick. And what we'll do is we'll put it on one side. I'll flip it over and pre-press it on the other side. This is a great time to also check your pressure. It gets all the moisture out. Now you're going to ask me, why do I do both sides? I don't know. I just do it both sides. Probably because it does warp it a little bit. So I want it to be nice and flat. So I will then just flip it over. Give it another pre-press. I give it about a 10 or so second pre-press on both sides. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. What it does, it gets that moisture right out of the way. I'm going to grab my heat gloves because, well, got to protect the other investment. That's my fingertips. We're going to let this cool off for a very hot second. Let's wave it on here. Okay. Now, do they have the templates for the shape? Yes, they do. Did I want to bother doing it? No, I did not. What I did was I took one of my tumbler templates because the customer wants me to do a tumbler. So I took my tumbler template or my tumbler design, and we're going to make it into a clipboard. A lot of the tumbler designs that you find can stretch reasonably well to make it into a clipboard. So there is that. One thing I will tell you is there are size clipboards that are like I think they're 4x6 or 6x9. They're a smaller clipboard. They make great gifts to go with a desk set. So you could pair it with a mouse pad and a coaster, and we're going to make pens, and we're going to have this clipboard. Now I only do 2 pieces of tape, nothing fancy, nothing crazy when I do this. And now we're going to go press it at 395 for 60 seconds. We've got our paper that we're going to put down because there will be some bleed on this. As you can see, it does not fit the full, doesn't go in the shape of. Now, I do have mine going sideways. I do not have mine going front to back. The reason for this being, let me get on the big camera so you can kind of see me. For me having a swing away, or not for me having a clamshell, not a swing away, I put mine in going the horizontal way. The reason being is because the back does touch first before my front does. It's a little bit heavier in pressure in the back than it is in the front. So by putting it sideways, I'll get a little bit more of an even press. I only taped it in 2 spots so I can peek under the hood to make sure that I got a perfect press. And if I'm in doubt that whether or not I've squished it enough, I give it another quarter turn just to make sure. So, whoops, forgot to grab the paper for the top. Okay. And then we drop it down. So now we're going to wait the 60 seconds. We're going to press it. We're going to get my heat glove so that I can pull that off and let it sit. It will warp a little bit under the pressure for the heat. On the second time around, when we go to press the backside of it, it should flatten it right out. Don't get worried. And if for some reason you're still ending up with a little bit of warp, what you can do is put it under a book. While it's hot, it will flatten right out. I also like to have around the house a big marble cutting board. It's nice and heavy, and it does the trick for flattening out a lot of the objects that or substrates, I should say, that we do press. So we are going to do that. While it's pressing on the second side, I'm going to show you the pens that we're going to add to it, just to add that little bit of a personal touch to the whole set that I will be creating, and I'll show you guys pictures later in the week. So we're going to be doing a desk set. We're going to have the clipboard, the pens, the mouse pad, and the coaster. Okay. Now, what I like to do is peek under the hood. I want to make sure that everything looks like it's pressed correctly, especially on this front end for us clamshell users. If you're going to notice some weird issues or pressing issues, you're going to notice it on the front half before you'll notice it on the back half. So let's slide this off. We get rid of our paper because you see there's bleed there. We don't want that. Let's pull this. Okay. She is gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. Look how pretty that turned out. And that is one of my tumbler designs. It's probably one of my favorite tumbler designs because it's just so springy and pretty. So I'm letting this cool off for just a hot second, literally because it's hot at almost 400 degrees. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lay down and we're going to put the backside on. Now I will try to measure or line this up the best I can so that it sort of matches the back to the front. Sort of, kind of, maybe. you know how that goes, right? It doesn't have to be exact. Absolutely not. So again, I'm only putting a piece of tape on the corners because I like to be able to peek under the hood and see what I've got going on here. Now, what you can do, because this is going to a future teacher, for a future teacher, you can have this one side be a beautiful clipboard as such. But on the back side, what you can do is add, depending on the type of teacher, it's a great dry erase board for a teacher because they're holding their clipboard. They can just quickly do what they need to do and be on their way, right? So that's what you can do for that. So now we're going to go in and we're going to press this. We're going to put more butcher paper down. I am still going to be using my glove because it is slightly warm still. Lay it back down. Again, I went with the horizontal. We're going to add our butcher paper. And in this butcher paper, it creates a burrito. Okay, so now that we have that going, I talked to you guys on Sunday about doing these pens. I'm going to be selling pen wraps. Well, I was able to make some for her that had her name on it. I will have a custom listing for these. Very simple and easily. So I want to decide what is the top, what is the bottom. Because the flowers for me are the top, you just literally push this down onto here and roll. And that's it. That's all there is to it. You just roll it. It has a protective film on this. You just smooth down your seams. And let's say you mess it up and you get a little bump or something in it. You can always pull this off and reposition it before it's sealed. Okay. So this will go on this end. And then we're going to put the pieces in here. And now she has a custom pen. I'm going to want to rotate this though and put this on my seam. Only because I want her name to be present. Let's do the second one real quick. So find out where your seam is. Move your little clip thing so that this is what it looks like when you're done. Let's do it on the second one. Do these come pre-cut? Yes, they do. They absolutely come pre-cut. You do not have to cut them. I wanted to keep it simple for people. This is the top. That's the top. Perfect. All right, we're going to do it again. Again, super easy. This is if you don't want to do sublimation and you want to do something slightly different. And maybe you're just not, you know, super uber duper crafty. I want to move this just a little bit. What I also like to do, and I've been doing, is putting this piece on just because it gives me almost like a handle to hold. So I know where to line it up because the black is really hard to line up sometimes. So, and I say that only as someone who's been doing it. So I roll it and then just literally roll it like that. That's it. It was just literally a roll. Okay. You go in, do your seam, add your hardware, find out where your seam is and put this thing right over the seam. Make sure your seam's down nice and tight. Okay, and there you go. So now we have those ready for her clipboard. Oh, I need my gloves. Okay. And she's beauty-muss. Absolutely beauty-muss. All right, so here we go. This is what it looks like. This is the front. That's the back. No off-gassing, no weird color shift, anything of that nature. Came out gorgeous. Gorgeous, darling. Okay, we're going to let it cool for a second. Okay, and if you notice, when I did this, these all now fit perfect. Now they have a set for that. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Do you have to put the names on the pens? No, you don't have to. You can have them be just color coordinating. Now it comes with all the hardware. Okay. And I'm going to get my, what I call my ball hammer. The reason they call it a ball hammer is because it has, well, this ball end to it, so that when I go to pound it down on there, it'll work. Now, I also like to, if I can find my brick, I have a metal brick that I like to sit it on top of. Do you have to sit it on top of something? Well, no, you don't. You can absolutely just put it how it is. I just do it so I don't make a mark in my table, because I tend to make a mark in my table. So I do it so that I don't make marks in my table. Let me see if I can find my brick. Hold, please. And that's a negative when you clean your shop. Okay, so I want to protect my table. I don't want the table to get all sorts of marks in the table. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of MDF that I don't necessarily care about. I don't want anybody to get upset with me, or a piece of metal. Oh, that'll work too. We're just going to do this. Okay, I'm only doing this to, like I said, to protect this piece. So this is where this is going to come into play. So you want to take this little piece, okay, and this little piece. So you basically want to make sure that you have all of these little, what I call the buttons, in underneath. Now, if you're afraid, here, let me just show you a trick too. If you're afraid these are going to come off, take your heat tape. Heat tape's not going to ruin anything because it's a pain in the booty. Okay, so you want to put the heat tape over this, so when you flip it over, it doesn't move on you. Okay, because that's a problem. So now you've heat taped it down. Now you can put this all together. So this, why isn't that one fitting? Did I grab the wrong one? I may have. Hold, please. Believe it or not, there's different sizes. And I may have grabbed the clipboard that has the other type of clip on it, which I will show you how to do. I'm not a fan of them. Not going to lie to you. There we go. Come on. There. I'm not sure where I got this small one from, but here we are. All right. So leave these things on. You can, yes. We're going to just pop this down in here. If I can, there we go. And I just push it onto there, and then we're going to hammer it. Okay. Now, done. And then over here, done. And there it is. Now, I like to go back through here, pull that tape off that helped secure it on there for me. And now I don't have any dents in my furniture, because that's a real thing. And there you go. And I made the custom pens to go with it. So now I have a really cute set to offer someone, between the pens, the clipboard, the tumbler, and the rest of the desk set that I'll be making for this young lady's order. I can't wait for her to see it, and I can't wait to show it off to you. This is how you make a clipboard. It's very, very simple and easy. Let me just go over the steps really quickly. You're going to take your clipboard. You're going to make sure you take the film off your clipboard. You could get them from any major vendor. You need to pre-press them because it's over that 6 inches. I tend to like to pre-press mine on both sides. I want to make sure all the moisture content is out of it. If you're using a clamshell press, you want to do it on the horizontal, not necessarily on the vertical. If you can, my press just happens to be a horizontal press. If you can't, because of the size of your press, let's say you have a 15 by 15, try to put it in horizontal if you can, because remember, on a clamshell, the pressure is tightest in the back than it is versus the front. So then this way, what you could do is make sure you get a perfect evenly press. I only tape it in the 2 opposite corners. That way I can peek under the hood to make sure that I had enough pressure. What is the pressure on this? I like to do medium to firm pressure at 395 for 60 seconds. Then I let it cool off for a hot second, and then I will literally flip it over and print the back side of it. As you could see, I also didn't let it cool completely when I put the hardware on. That's okay too. You don't have to wait till it's completely cooled. Can you? Absolutely. There is no right or wrong way into this as long as you do it. You want to go in, you want to tape those little pegs that are going to hold in, or the mail section of the clipboard findings. You want to tape those onto the backside so they don't fall off when you got to flip it over, and everything lines up perfectly. Add your hardware, snap on the top of the caps or the female section, and then use a ball hammer to hammer it out. Just a little bit of a pro tip, and ask me how I know, is put something underneath that item when you go to hammer it, because you will put an indent into your furniture, and well, we don't want that. So you can use a metal ornament, you can use another piece of MDF that you've ruined, whatever it may be, just a little something to protect your other investments in your house, which happen to be your work tables. And just like that, I am done. I hope you guys enjoyed this mini SAS tutorial on how to do a clipboard. I will be doing another one tomorrow. See you real soon. You know where, on that flip side.